today. Thank you, Will, for hitting the record button. But today we will be going over the basics. This is going to be a hands-on training. So we will be, I'll be providing you guys some links. We're going to be working on our training website just to kind of as we go through the basics and learning our agency platform. So on the agenda today, we're going to be doing quick introductions for the agency platform team. We're going to be going over the admin bar, so you get kind of familiarity of how to navigate the admin menu. We're going to be managing content that may already be on your site, and you want to be able to kind of manage that. We're going to be creating new content and also getting into custom blocks. And then we're going to get a little bit into the layout of a basic page, but that we dive into further in our deeper dive training, which is the training we have after this. So taking a look here. First off, I want to introduce myself in case you guys aren't familiar. My name is Vincent Salgado. I am the lead for the agency platform team. We also have William Sizemore here in the meeting. He is the agency platform business analyst. So I'm sure you guys gotten a bunch of emails from him as notifications to let you guys know what's going on with our platform. But welcome. Thank you for attending our training today. Before we continue on, does anybody have any questions on anything? Okay. So next, what we're going to do here, we're going to jump right into our training website. In the chat, I'm going to paste in here the link to our training website. So that would be the link. And in order to log into the training website, I'm going to provide a second link here, which is just /user. So if you go ahead and click on that, the username is going to be training user, and then the password is password1234. I'll give everybody a couple minutes to do so, but let me know if anybody has any questions. Okay. So taking a look, everybody should be logged in at this point. Let me just navigate over to our site. Here we go. So once you're logged into the website, you should see a page. It's probably blank, and it says member for however many months or years. So that just kind of bring you to your user page. But another indication that you're logged in, you should see the admin bar here to the left, which is a vertical bar here that has all of our main navigation or our admin navigation menu stuff here. And then also to the bottom right, you will also notice a feedback button, and we'll go over that here in a second. But taking a look here, again, as an indication that you are logged in, you will see these rows of icons here to the left. This is the admin bar. One thing I would recommend is that while you're still kind of getting used to navigating the new agency platform, you can expand out the menu here. This will just kind of give you the words of what each of those icons are. It does take up a little bit more screen real estate, and then when you kind of get a better idea of what each of these icons are, you can go ahead and start just minimize that and just navigate through here in order to do so. Starting from the top, what we do have here, this little teardrop icon, is our tools menu. You will have some functionality in order to kind of just clear out cache in case you need to, but this is also where you kind of go to log out. Depending on your permissions, you might see more or less here. In this case, we are working with an editor's role on on this particular site, but we are seeing a little bit more admin menus here that you won't probably need to worry about for your site in particular. But that's what you could do here as the tools. Also, another thing to kind of take note, in case you want a quick way to kind of just go back to the home screen, if you click on the teardrop icon, it will take you back to the home screen. In case you're in the admin section of the website, or you're in other pages around your site, that's just kind of a quick way to bring you back to the home page. After that, we do have our content section. So for this one, sorry, let me expand it out while we're getting used to it. So for content here, which is this little page icon, this is where you're going to go to in order to take a look at all your media, your files, any feeds in case you do have that on your site. Not all sites you are leveraging feeds, but that's where you kind of go to find that. And then you have, this is where you kind of go to be able to add in content, those basic pages, events, and we'll go over new content here in a second. And then also your overview page. Do want you to become familiar with this overview page. So we can kind of just start by clicking on that. In the content overview page, this will show you all of the content that has been created on your website. So this is both published and unpublished. So things you may be working on. This is always kind of a go-to spot in order to kind of find what you're looking for, particular pages or maybe certain events or news articles. This is where you want to go. You want to go to this content overview page. Going down here, next we do have structure. For those of you in structure, what we do have here is going to be things like creating reusable blocks, and those are things that we get into in later trainings. But this is also kind of where you go to in case you do have the permissions to do things with taxonomy, adding things on lists that you may have, categories, so on and so forth. But that's pretty much all we get out of this one in particular. Next, we have the appearance tab, the extend tab, and the peoples tab, and also the reports. These four right here, these are for more administrative purposes. So those are for the admin roles. Nothing you need to worry about there, unless you're an administrator, particularly on your website. And if you have questions about those in particular, we could talk about those outside of the training. Those are outside of the scope. And then lastly, it's just configuration here as well, which falls under the same category. Any questions as far as those different sections of the admin menu? Again, the two that you would worry about as a content editor is going to be the tools and the content, as well as structure as well. So those three. Any questions on anything? I'm going to go back to the home page here. The other thing I want you to be aware of is the feedback button here to the bottom right. So it is kind of transparent until I hover over it, but it is on every single one of your pages. So in case you are working on something, so let's take a look and say I'm on the news page for my website, and I notice something like, oh, this image is not loading properly. I need to figure out why. What you can do is just click on the feedback button. It pulls up this small form. So for this one in particular, let's just say image not loading, and then I can put a description. for the announcement 2, the image is not loading on this page. What's good about this feedback form that we're doing here is that wherever you fill it out on your website, it sends us information, and also we'll create a ticket going through the service desk. It does take a little bit sometimes, so just be aware of that. Because this is sending out an email to our service desk, it takes them some time to kind of get around to it. If you want a faster response, definitely go into the ServiceNow portal and create a ticket for us there. But this is kind of a way of where you're willing to kind of wait for it to go through the systems and then get to our team. This will go to our maintenance team. It will create something into our backlog of tickets that we have, and it sends out information. Who is the one who filled it out? What page are they looking at? This allows us to kind of address those things quicker instead of kind of going back and forth, trying to find out exactly where you're talking about on your site. And what page are you seeing this on? Because if you do it directly from that, what you can also do with this feedback form is that you can take a screenshot. And so this will take a screenshot of the entire page itself, but you can highlight specifically what is the issue here. So I can highlight here, this is what I'm talking about, is this image that is not loading. And then I can go ahead and click on take screenshot, and it will upload the screenshot with this particular ticket. So that way, again, our maintenance team and ourselves will be able to kind of reference exactly what you're looking for here. In case you don't want to use the screenshot feature built within the feedback form, you can go ahead and upload your own image as well. And then you can go ahead and click send. And when I click send, it will send it out again to our service desk as an email. It will also go to our backlog of items, and our maintenance team will eventually address it. Any questions on this at all? We do have just different categories that you can categorize this issue. So for this one in particular, I'll just say it's a general issue or problem while we're talking about here, and I go ahead and send. I would definitely say take advantage of that for your guys' sites. It is something that helps us kind of just treat maybe issues you may be having on your site a little bit quicker. Any questions? Okay. So jumping back into what we have here, I'm going to go ahead and just go to the home page. I'm going to minimize this just so it gives me a little bit more screen real estate. But again, you can kind of keep that open as you are familiarizing yourself with the admin menu. So now that we've kind of gotten used to, or we've gotten familiar with the admin menu and the feedback form, other things I want you to kind of take note of as you are navigating throughout your website is that when you are highlighting over certain things, you will see these little pencil icons. These pencil icons will allow you to edit individual blocks of information, and we will get into custom blocks versus reusable blocks later. But this is just to note what is popping up here. If you do see those pencil icons, it is an indication that you can quickly kind of edit some of these this content. So for this one in particular, this is an accordion item. I can go ahead and select that that pencil icon and then click on edit. I will warn you guys, the quick edit, it doesn't always work. We tend to just tell people to kind of just avoid the quick edit. It's something built within Drupal core itself. It kind of breaks things every once in a while. And in order to kind of to get out of it, you have to clear the cache of your browser itself. I would just recommend don't worry about doing the quick edit. It's not that user friendly. You might as well just do the full edit here. So I would say just worry about this. So if you want to add in a new item for this in particular, or you want to edit this item, you will go ahead and go into edit. And this will take me to this accordion items. And then I can go ahead and fill things out here or change something here. Or in this case, I can just easily, I'm just going to move something here. And I'll get into, we're going to get into this a little bit more. Check that. There we go. So that's kind of just a quick introduction as far as what those pencil icons are. I know that some of you may be working on sites that were migrated for you. And because they were migrated for you, the content is already in place. And when it is in place, that's just kind of a quick way to kind of go in and edit that particular content. Another thing you might see here is that I'm going to go ahead and let's go to this leadership page. A leadership page here as an example. Other things you might see here, you will see this edit at the top. This is another way to kind of jump into basic pages, for example. This one doesn't have a body itself because it is just running other views, kind of bringing it into this particular page. But this is how you kind of quickly jump back into a basic page to be able to edit things. So you see that as well. Other thing that you will become familiar with will be this layout button here. This layout button will bring you to the layout builder, and we will go over this in a little bit. But this is kind of where you can kind of go to create those blocks of information and then configure it, move it around however works best for you. So I'm going to go back to the home here. So that kind of gives you just a brief overview as far as how you go into editing content itself. Now, content throughout this entire platform is very similar to whether if you're using custom blocks or you're using custom content types. You will hear all those things, but they're all pretty similar in the way that they work. For example, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on overview. This is going to take us to that content overview page. We have different types of content. So for every single agency platform website that we have these content types available for people. We have basic pages. Basic pages are going to be the foundation for a lot of your pages that are found throughout your site, your interior pages, landing pages. This is kind of just a basic page that literally allows you to put a title, put a body in there, and then you can put it wherever you want on the main menu itself and then save it. We have default layouts, but then the basic page itself can be edited whatever way that you want. You can add in whatever content you want, and then you can kind of build out a page from there. So basic pages kind of give you that foundation for things. Next, we have events, and it's just like how it sounds. We do have events that you can post onto your website. We have things pre-configured for you. So when you post an event, it will go to the events page, and then you can share that page, obviously, with people. You can promote it, certain events that are coming up. You can even take attendance, not attendance, but more so registration. And just to let you know, the registrations that we have for events and meetings as well, that could be attendance for meetings. It's a very high level kind of registration form. If you have other things that you would like to kind of do with the registration form itself, you might look elsewhere, depending if you have some type of, let's say, conference coming up and you want to take a more robust way of collecting money and doing those type of things. There might be third-party services out there that will do better than what we have. It's a very simple kind of registration that we have here that you can take advantage of. But that's a tangent. Kind of moving on here. Next, we do have leadership. So what leadership content type is creating a leadership profile. So for directors, if you want to create something for the director, you can input their portrait. You can have their bio in there, and then share any other optional information such as phone number in case you do want to publish that. Some people do want that, some people don't, but also have the ability to kind of share maybe social media as well. There are things that you can fill out for that particular leadership that you want. And for when you create those leadership pages, you also have the ability to kind of categorize them how you want to kind of create that hierarchical structure. So it shows on your particular page. So you have your director at the top, and then you have executives below that, and then so on and so forth. And we can kind of configure that however you want for your particular agency. But we do have kind of a template there to kind of start with. Next, we do have a meeting content type. A lot of agencies do have do have board meetings that they need to publish. So beforehand, you can create a meeting, you can put it in an agenda, other attachments as well, and minutes as well. You can come back to it and submit those minutes, and it will create a list of all your upcoming and previous board meetings that you've had for your agency. And again, just like how we leverage some type of registration on events, you can have people, in case you are doing something remote, as in you're providing a Zoom link, you can add that onto your meeting content type, and then allow people to sign in. So if they're viewing it on Zoom, and then you want them to take their attendance, they can do it directly on your meeting that you have created. Next, we have news and press release, which is just like how it sounds. They're just news articles that you can share. Again, work similarly the way that events is, that you create the news article, it will go to the news section that we have set up for you, and then we can configure it from there. Same thing with press releases. And then you can obviously promote them onto the front page. We have different ways of doing that. And you can kind of share those out to people. Next, we do have a resource content type. What it does is that it's building out a resource library for that is public facing. So whether that is for the public, for people within your organization, you can share those resources, and whether there be policies, documents, budget reports, whatever it is, you can create that resource. You will link it to a document or to a link, maybe to a Google Doc, and we'll go over that in a bit. And then to create your resource library. And you kind of build it out from there. Next, we have service. Service is something that's new that we want agencies to be aware of. We want agencies to start identifying all of the services that your agency provides. That way, at some point, I know the state would like to create a website that will show all of the services that all the agencies provide. One thing that the state has always had an issue with is having an up-to-date list, because a lot of agencies will either take away or add new services and then don't report it up. And then so we never know how 100% accurate those services are. However, if we can hand it back to the agencies themselves, you guys manage the services, you guys know when those services are launching or when services are could be going away. You can manage that on your own. So when you do take it off, this eventual website can then pull up, up-to-date data, knowing that no, that service is no longer there, so it's removed onto that website, or you added this service, so let's put it onto this website. And you guys kind of manage how that looks. And then lastly is a web form. And web forms themselves on Drupal 9 can be their own class, and we do hope to provide a class on just web forms in the near future. But we were not going to go too much over that. But that is just kind of collecting information from people who fill out those fields. Any questions on these content types that we have here? Okay, so now that you kind of know the different types of content that you can create with the agency platform, we're going to go ahead and select one. We're going to select a resource here as an example. All content, again, that is content types like what we just discussed, or it's going to be blocks of information, kind of like that accordion item that we just were. They all function very similarly. There's just small differences here and there that we'll kind of get used to. For content types, this is what we'll usually see if we're creating new content. What we see is that we have the fields, which each individual thing that we fill out here they're known as fields. And then we also, so we have fields here to the left, and then we have some additional configuration here to the right, and we'll go over this in a bit, but this has to do with the main menu settings and so on and so forth. Then we also have here to the top just some things to kind of be aware of. Every content that you do create by default, it will be published. If you want to kind of work on it as a draft, you can uncheck that and then kind of work on it from there. There's just some things to be aware of, and we'll go over that here in a second. But right now, anything that I do create here is going to be published automatically. So just something to be aware of. There are some things that you can have some type of workflow built into your website. Some agencies have it, some agencies don't. So just something to just be aware of. A workflow is kind of more so for larger agencies that need to have it go through from a content creator to an editor to somebody who can approve those things and then publish it onto the website. That is something that is available within our platform, but nothing that we're going to go over today. But continuing on here, I am creating a new resource. So I'm going to create something here. This one's just going to be called my new resource. And then from here, let's just say I'm going to create a policy. So you do have the ability to select what type of document that you want to do here for this particular content type. I can select it. So it could either be one thing or it can even be multiple things. Some people can say it is a procedure, but also a policy. So I could do that. I'll do that here as well. And then down here, I am going to tell what kind of or how am I going to upload or share this resource. You have the option to either do a link. We are starting to encourage people to leverage Google Docs if you guys are using the Google suite of things, because if you have a policy and it is linked to a Google Doc that the public can see, but obviously not edit, but they will be able to view it. In case there is a small change here and there that needs to happen, you can change it on the Google Docs and it is automatically updated for on all your sites that you have it linked to. If you do it the old way where we're uploading a document, that's fine too, but just be aware, obviously, that if those policies ever update, obviously you have to come back in and re-upload that policy. And then you have to remove the one that is there. So just something to kind of keep aware of. We do want to start leveraging cloud technology. So if you can have the ability to do it in Google Docs, I would recommend doing that. But there's no reason why you can't do it also by just uploading the document itself. So we do give you the option to do kind of one or the other here. So in this case, I am going to just upload a PDF. Once I click on upload here, something you guys will start to be familiar with will be this kind of media setup. This is used throughout the site. So whether if you're uploading new images or you're uploading documents, you will probably come to this media upload screen here. So it usually gives you the ability to do one or two things. One, you can add your own file. You can click on choose file, and this will take you to something in your on your computer to your file systems, and then you can go ahead and upload a PDF or whatever is delegated. We definitely we do have the types to be able to do Word docs, PDFs, and Excel spreadsheets. Would definitely recommend if you can create a PDF, do a PDF. It's just the most accessible way to share documentation on the internet. So in this case, if I choose a file, let me see if I have one available to me. I'm gonna select this one. This just seems like a job description I have saved here. So I can go ahead and click save. And it has uploaded it to the media library. So I have that ability to upload my own files, but you also have the ability to take a look at what is currently sitting in your media library itself. So this media library, you can it sorts automatically by the newest first, or you can search for a name. There might be a file that's already uploaded onto your site that you just want to share. On this, you have the ability to select that. But if you are creating a new resource, most likely you are uploading your own one. So the one that I just uploaded does show up to the top, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. But just note that to select whatever you're going to choose here, you have to click on this little button. That will check it to know that that's the document that you're going with. So again, I just uploaded this one to the media library. And go ahead and select this particular document. Scroll down and insert selected. So there, now it has a link to the document that I'm uploading here for this resource. And then I'm going to go down and then do a description here. I'm just going to grab something short here. I'm going to use a lorem ipsum generator here. In case you guys do need one. You can use, this is my favorite, which is Cupcake Ipsum. So it's just a lorem ipsum that generates some stupid lorem ipsum text here. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab what is here and then go back to my resource page here and then put it into the description. Everything looks good. So I kind of filled everything out. Again, all of the content types and things that you are going to be creating for the website, you just have to fill out the fields. It's pretty straightforward. You put in the title, you'll put in, you'll select things. So in this case, we're doing document types. You'll upload files, you'll add in links, and then you can write in the description. The description is, and then this is the WYSIWYG. So it's, you can select different formats that you can do. You can manipulate text here if you want to, but you get different options depending on what format that you want to put it in. So something to just kind of familiarize yourself with the WYSIWYG throughout the sites. So this is all filled out for me. So this looks good. Now I want to go over to the secondary menu here that you will see with all the content types that you are creating. So the first thing you'll notice here is going to be the revision log message. So this is something to kind of keep in mind is because in most cases, agencies have multiple people working on a website. If you're doing something, you're making a change to something, it's definitely good to kind of write in a little log message in here in case somebody comes in here and they notice that maybe something's missing, maybe a document was removed and they want to know why. If you log it into what is kind of going on, this just allows it creates this these log messages that people can look at over time to see what people were doing, changing, so they maybe answered some of their questions, and so you can kind of keep track of that as well. So for this one, because it's new, I'm not going to write anything in here. Next, we do have the menu settings. So you do have the ability to just link these particular content types directly to different menus that are built around your site. So whether that is the main menu that goes across the top of every single page or the footer menu, you have that ability. In this case, because we're creating a resource, I don't really need to put this anywhere. I'm just going to go ahead and not add a menu item. You usually will use this with basic pages, but nothing else really. Next, you have your URL alias. Definitely recommend just kind of keeping the default in here. But in the case that you do want to specify what that URL is, and what I mean by that is it's that address that you put into your browser in order to navigate to something. So this one will generate it automatically, and I would definitely recommend sticking to that because this helps out with your search engine optimization. However, you do have the ability to uncheck it and write in specifically what it is for this one. So let's just say that this is dress code. Okay, that's what you wanted it to say with your, let's say if your domain was az.gov, it would say az.gov/this is dress code, and then that will navigate to this particular resource. So I'm just kind of keep to be aware of that. That's what this does. But again, I recommend keeping it to have it generate automatically for you. Below that is authoring information. It will default to you as the one who is creating this, but you can assign it to other people as well. But that's something you probably won't touch much, but that's what that is. And then lastly, our promotions. So promoter to front page, sticky at the top of the list. This in particular doesn't do much unless you are creating events, meetings, and news articles. So sticky at the top of the list is more, it's going to promote it to certain areas on the front page if you have it set up that way. But that's what this grabs here. So you only need to worry about that. If you have a view on the front page that is showing featured news articles, then you want to make sure that those things are checked so it'll be featured under those featured articles. Any questions on any of the stuff that we've covered? All right. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So now that I created my new resource, this will show, this shows you an overview page that shows all the stuff that I put in here. Here's the description. Here's the document type that I have here. It's a policy and a procedure. And then you have the document here. So now that this is created, the other thing that it does is that we do have the resources library set up here. So if I click on resources, it should show here as well. It is a part of now this library that we've been creating just in different trainings. So I'm going to go ahead and say my new here, let's search the title, and here's the resource that I just created. So there's my resource, there's the type it is, and then if I click on more info, this will show that description that I wrote here. The description is useful for those resources because it allows people to kind of search by keyword, so search by the description in it to kind of give people to search better. You can obviously type in the title itself. So if I were to put in new, it will grab all the resources that say new in it. And then so there's my new resource that I created. Or you could even select which document types that you're looking for. So if I want to look at everything that is policy and has the title new in it, that's where it will show right here. So that's kind of what we do. And this is similar to how other things are set up. In this case, I'm creating a resource. So it goes here. If I create a news page, a news article, it will go to this news article page. And then if I created a leadership profile, it goes to the leadership pages that are already created here. So they all function very similarly, just depending on how it's set up for your particular sites themselves. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay, so that will lead us on to our very first task that we're going to do. So what I would like everybody to do is you're going to go ahead and go into the site and create your first resource. You want to go to you want to add content. You want to create a resource. The title can be whatever you want. Choose whatever document type you would like. Add in a PDF document, or you could just do a URL to a website, whatever it is. And then you can add a description and then click save. I'll give everybody about 10 minutes to do so. Let me know if anybody has any questions on anything.
I apologize for my tardiness here. What was the ask?
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if you have the page here. I'm going to relink it to the website we're working on here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's the site that we're working on. This is a training site. And then here's where you go to log in. I will put in the information here. So you go ahead and sign in there. Once you sign in, you're able to kind of go into and create a resource.
All right, let me follow that. I am so sorry to ask. Can you paste those in chat once more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Vincent. I
No.
was late picking up kiddos, was on my mobile, switched over, forgot that it's gonna clear the chat.
Yeah, no worries.
So I added content under the resources, and when editing, I was able to see it, but when I get out of editing, I can't find it.
Sorry, say that one more time.
So I added content, right? I added like just an old report that I used to add to the old website, and under editing, I was able to see it in there, uploaded and everything. But when I get out of the to editing and I go under resources, I'm not able to see it now.
Okay, let me take a look here. Was it called the public service orientation?
No, it was a public records report. I added it as a quarterly report.
As a quarterly report?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on here. I'm just want to make sure that I don't know if you maybe navigated away before saving it, but I'm not seeing it on the content overview.
Okay.
That's what I see is the public service orientation. That's all I see. Let's give it a try one more time.
Yep.
That's why we have attorneys standing by. Take your call.
Hey, Steven, I do see a public records report now on the thing. So it looks like it's saved.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, I think I've got mine up there.
Okay, so Vincent, I have a comment about this content type too.
Yes.
I think I think you have to be very careful of the limitations of this, because sometimes your resources, you might actually have some information you want, but if you add a URL link or a document link, if you use any of those fields, if you click on the resource, you will actually just automatically go to the document, and you might not be able to see all the other information that you might want your user to read.
Yeah, and I'll go over that in a second. What's there? So I'm going to jump back over to the site here. Let's see here. Okay, so just to address what Alex is talking about here. So on the resources page itself, these individual links, they don't link directly to the to each individual page. So let's just say here for dress code policy here as an example, when I click on this, this will take me directly to the document itself that was for this one in particular. The same goes for if you were linked out to a URL, this particular title, when you click on it, will go to that URL. So this BOP test that's here, this is actually a Google Drive page. So if I click on that, this here in particular, it shows that, well, you guys can see it. This is showing me that I'm blocked for this particular document, which is fine. But it is taking me directly to that link. So if you put in a URL in there, or even if you put in the document on the resources page, it takes you directly there. Now, there are cases that, if Alex, if what you're talking about there, you want to share a page, but you want to share, sorry, I can go back here. But you want to share what was this whole, sorry, hold on a second here. This particular page of the resources, the way that we have it built out, and the way that we've tested it with other users, usually all this information is on that particular page, right? It has even the description there under the more info. most people wanted the functionality of having it go directly to either the document or the URL that you have linked. If you want to go specifically to this page, there is a way to do that. We can set it up in such a way. But some people have found it, who have tried it this way, they have found it that people don't actually go and click on the document, or will click on the link that is provided on this particular page. So we kind of just have bypass that to allow people, when they click on it, it will take them directly to the document, or take them directly to that page. It's just something to be aware of as you guys are creating these things. So these are all these titles here are linking either to a document or to that URL that you specified.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you guys have gone ahead and created those resources, I'm going to go to that content overview page. Again, like I said, this is going to be kind of your go-to page as you're managing and playing around with content. So down here, I do see that we have created. We have 4 different resources that are here. We have the carrier awards, the public records reports, public service orientation, and the pricing sheet. I'm going to look up public records report here as an example. So again, I'm going to navigate back to the home page and then go to resources here. So for resources, let's just look up public record. And there's my public records report, a quarterly report here. If I click on more info, here is that particular description here. So there it's shared. So again, if I wanted to look up, let's just say carrier awards. Let's just put up carrier here under search and keyword. If I apply that, that brings up everything that has in the description of carrier. So just something to kind of be aware of, that that's another way for people to kind of search for things. So that's why it's good to kind of be descriptive in the description itself. But taking a look at this public records report that we have here, if I go ahead and select this one in particular, it does take me to that document that is there. So that's working the way that we'd like it to. Anybody have any questions as far as creating those resources, creating content types, or anything that's particular with that? Okay. All right, 1 second here. Okay, so next, what I do want to cover is definitely play around with creating content. You can use this website. So definitely play around with the events, the leadership, the services, whatever you have here. Take a look and just play around with it. This allows you to again, just kind of get a feel for what we have out of the box. But I don't want to go into each individual content type. But I do want to show you something that we are going to go over basic pages, because that will basically be the foundation for what you have here. Now, before we jump into the basic page, something I want you guys to be aware of, because I know that a lot of people want to be able to kind of just quickly edit their main menu. So here we have our main menu navigation that's at the top of every single page. So it doesn't matter if I go to news, I go to about, or whatever it is, that is always going to be here. The same goes for the footer. So the footer and the header that we have here with the logo and the navigation, those are all going to be the same on all of your pages that you have here. Everything that is in between the two is handled through Layout Builder, through the content that you create, and those things are configurable. So, but the top and the bottom and the header, the footer, those are, we kind of have standards set in place. We do have builders guides that we can share with you. But just note that those pretty much stay the same. We don't want to add too much to that. So in the header, obviously you have your logo, you have your main navigation, and then you have a little search functionality right here. So if I select that little looking glass, you can go ahead and search your website via this search field right here. But what I do want to show you here is the ability to edit your main menu. So just like in other just like how we saw before with other content, you have the little pencil icon that pops up here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So this, because it is a different type of block, it's a menu system, you do have a little bit of information here. In this one in particular, we do want to just edit the menu. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit menu. So, and what I want to show you is to show you kind of the main navigation that's appearing on all your different pages. I do want to show you just the ability. You have the ability to kind of move stuff around. So if I want to move public records report up, I can do that, click save. It will take me back to the page I was last on, and then it shows how it is structured. Now I move public records report around there. Now, there are some stuff in here that I don't want to have in here, so I'm going to go ahead and select the menu again. I'm going to get rid of Google Docs here as an example. So I'm going to go ahead. I have the ability, I can edit this. If I click on edit, this will just edit the menu link itself. And I can go ahead and delete it here. But if I go back and I just want to delete it, I click on this drop down arrow and select delete. And that removes something from my main menu. I'm going to do the same here for the public records report here. So I'm going to click on edit menu. And then I am going to delete this here as well. So the main menu, I wouldn't be too concerned about adding things on your own. If we are adding content and you want that content, which is usually going to be basic pages, you want to do it through the edit menu of that particular basic page. And I'll show you why here in a second. So going back into the menu section here, if I go ahead and I wanted to add a link, you can do that. So there are some links that you may want to go to a different page on a different website, whether that is some kind of external application that you may have that your users need to navigate to. You can add in that. You could say, let's just say external application here as an example, and I could put in a link. So you have two options here to do this, just so you guys are aware of what happens when I start typing stuff. It first and foremost will look for internal pages. So if I wanted to link to the news page, I can do news. I can type in news and then select whatever the news page is. This last one is the actual news page. So I can do that. If you ever have internal pages, internal resources, internal content that you want to link people directly to, I would definitely just start typing in the name of it, and you can search for it through there. Something to be aware of is that if you do something like this, where let's just say, oh, I want to link directly to this page or this, a lot of people will copy it from their browser and just throw it in here. I would recommend that you guys don't do that for internal pages. Do the search functionality. The problem with this here is that if I put this in here and I say, okay, yeah, that's the page that I want to do, and I go ahead and click save, what that is doing is that that's saving an absolute link. So, which means that it is always going to point to that training page. So what we've seen in the past is that people will put in all of these dev links where it will say the dev for the website you're working on. And then when we push it over to live, it is still pointing to the wrong website because you're doing it this way. Now, if I wanted to go directly to the about page, if I select about, it will link internally into that page, but also go from when I move it up to different environments, whether it's a test environment, dev environment, or to the live environment, it will always link relatively within the website itself. So you don't have to worry about updating that as things get moved on. So you only want to do a full link if it's going somewhere direct, if it's going to an outside website. So in this case, I'm just going to put in HTTPS www.google.com as an example here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then the parent link, I will make it for the parent link, and this is something you'll see throughout the site. I'm going to keep it as main navigation. That will make it a top level navigation. But if I wanted to nest it below something, so let's just say for the main navigation, I want to put it under about, I can do that. So it will put it into the about section. I'm going to go ahead and click save. So that will add this particular one. And under about external application, if I click on that, that will take me to, we can't see it, but it takes me to Google. So that is something to kind of be aware of. That's how you kind of add things for external stuff. But if you're doing internal things, make sure to link it directly, relatively, by using that search functionality. Just something I want everybody to be aware of here. But backtracking a little bit here, I'll show you kind of the best method to kind of link to the main menu itself. So what I want to do is I want to create a new content. I want to create a basic page. So again, I'm going to go to content. I can hover over add content and go directly to basic page. Again, another way of doing it is going to that overview page, selecting add content here, the big blue button here to the top right, select that, and then select basic page. There's different ways of going about getting to it. So for this one in particular, I want to call it my cool page.
Am I the only one on the Google webpage still?
Oh, yes. No, you are not. Everybody's
Cool.
on there. I forgot to switch over.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I'll run through that real quick again. You have the ability, if you're adding new content here, and I want to add a new basic page, you can use the admin menu here, hover over content, go to add content, and just select basic page. It brings you here. Or again, go to that overview page, and then you select add content. It brings you to this page, and then you select basic content, and then brings you here. So just different ways to kind of go about and start creating new content. So for this one, I'm going to call this my cool page. In the body, I'm going to throw in some lorem ipsum. Again, I'm just going to grab what is here. Lorem ipsum generator. Throw it in here. We're good here. A basic page doesn't have much to fill out. It has a title and a body. That's good. I want to start there. I'm going to go ahead and I can click save, jump already to it. But what I want to do is I want to add this to the main menu. So I showed you a way to kind of how do you manually add things into that main menu. But the best way to do it is if you're creating a basic page and you know you want this into your main menu or even in your footer menu, you go to the menu settings here and then select provide menu link. And I'll show you why we want to do it this way. So it automatically defaults the title to be the title of my page. It will automatically be a top level navigation, but for this one in particular, I want to put this under resources. The weight, you can choose the weight. The weight's not much. You don't have to do much there. You rather would do it through the menu system to kind of, what the weight does is it puts it above or below different items within your structure on your main menu, but we will do that through a different way. But you don't have to worry about weight. Everything else I'll keep the same. And then I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now, you were not able to see it on my page, but there are some things here to kind of take note of. When I create this page, the first thing that I notice is that that you can't see is in my address bar, it creates a URL that says /resources/mycoolpage. The reason it does that is one, it's because I put it under resources. Resources is the main, is the parent item here for my cool page. And because I have it automatically generated, it will automatically do that for me. So the other thing that we'd have here is that because I put it into the main menu, here it is on the main menu. No matter where I go, my cool page is now under resources. I'm in the news, go to resources, my cool page. Click on that. You will also notice that it builds out here to the right-hand navigation that is set up and built out for you. So the more that I add to resources, it will automatically add to the sub navigation that's here, as well as the main menu that is here. The other thing you will take a note at, because I'm using some default features within the URL alias, you will see in the breadcrumbs will build out correctly. It goes to home, resources, to my cool page. If I click on resources, it brings me up a page to the resources themselves. When I click on that, so there's my resources, and then over here on that resource page, there's my cool page. So easy enough building out just a basic page that's here. Now, what's nice about it is that if I go back and I'm editing this particular page, I go back to the edit of it. I will go back to the menu settings, and let's say I want to move it over to under news. And I go ahead and click save there. So quick and easy for me to do it that way. Everything updates automatically. I don't have to worry about it. Because I put it into the news section, now my URL now says /news/mycool page. The breadcrumbs build out correctly where it's home, news, mycool page. It's no longer showing the resources because now I'm in a different section of the web page. So everything kind of automatically built out for me. So that's why it's always good to kind of stick within that menu system within that particular content, because it will update everything for you. You don't have to worry about that if you move things manually in the main menu. So just something to be aware of there. So again, I'm going to go back to edit. And this time, I'm just going to go ahead and put it as a top level navigation. So I'm not going to make the parent item news or resource or anything like that. I'm just going to select main navigation that's there. And then go ahead and select save. So when I do that, it is now added as a top level navigation. Now my URL now just says /mycool page. There is nothing above it besides the home page. So we are good there. And that is looking like how I want it to start off here. So now that I have this page created, we can go ahead and start adding some stuff to it. Like I was mentioning before, all the pages that we create are kind of the foundation for a lot of the stuff that you see throughout your site. So I do have a page created here, but now I want to add in a banner here to the top. And so how do I go about doing that? So something that you will familiarize yourself with, and we dive deeper into it in our next training, is the layout builder. So I'm going to go ahead and select layout here in this tab menu system that's up here below my above my cool page. So when I click on layout, I am given a system here where I can add in different blocks of information or different blocks of content. Those blocks of content could be anything ranging from banners, images, to things like accordion items. And we will kind of dive into that a little bit. And we did kind of show the accordion items before. So what I want to do is that I want to create a banner. Now, this is the default layout of a basic page. And we can create custom layouts that we want to. And again, we get into that in our next training. So, but for the most case, you might be just leveraging what is the default layout. And it's always good to kind of stick with that. If you're not going to do anything special, just stick with the layout, with the basic layout. And you can add in blocks of information. So if I want to add in a block here in this top section, this one will span across the entire page. I know that because if I take a look at, let's say, section 2, there is a gutter here to the left and right. So that just kind of creates some white space. But this one goes across, this spans the entire page. So that's what I want for my banner. My banner is not going to have any white space to the left and right. So I want to use this section 1. And I'm going to click on add block. So when I click on add block, I do have this admin menu that pops up here to the right. So this allows me to create those custom blocks that I want to do here. So we'll go over this in our next training. So don't worry about all of these things that are down here. Just focus on this big blue button here at the top. This is create custom block. I'm gonna go ahead and select that. And I have my choice to choose what type of block that I want to do. Now, these blocks are similar to how content types are, where we went over the meetings, the leadership, the news articles. These are similar. So these are called custom blocks, but they're kind of smaller in scale. So it allows you to create things like banners, accordion items, card sets. Those are the kind of the call to action cards that you may see throughout your site. A simple Google map, just a simple image, things like that, text with image. And in case you want to kind of learn more about these, definitely play around with them. But if you hover over the landing page and go to available components, it will show all of those different blocks and the different variations of them. So you kind of know what those are and what they would be. So for this, in this case, I do just want to create a banner. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to keep the title as just default. I'm not going to display it. But then in here, I do want what is going to go across the banner itself. I'll just say my cool page. I'll leave the description blank. I'm not going to have any link or anything in there. And again, this is functioning the way that content types do. When we create those resources, we're just filling out information here. And again, if I'm putting in a URL and you want to link to somewhere internally, be sure to just type in the titles of that content so it can link directly to that. And then going down here, I'm just going to go ahead and select the image I'm going to use for the banner here. Now, I can choose something that is set up here, but I do want to run through what is like to kind of upload an image to the media library, because there is something to it. So I'm going to go ahead and select choose files. And let me see if I can find one here. Sorry, I'm looking for a good one here. Okay, gonna select something here. So if you guys ever seen the movie Palm Springs, if you haven't, just watch it. Good movie. Anyways, so do have this image here. So as uploaded, show me a preview of it, alternative text. Whenever you see alternative text, just note that this should be something that's a little bit, that's descriptive enough that if you hear somebody telling you this, that you will understand what that image is. Alternative text is used for accessibility purposes. So for people who are vision impaired, they will use their phone and their phone will actually read back to them the stuff, that content that is on a website. That's the way that they can kind of navigate it using a smartphone. So that alternative text is that's what the phone will read back to them. So if you put in just image in there and somebody who is vision impaired is having their phone read back to them and all it says is photo, they won't know what that photo is. So in this case, I'm just going to say photo of two people floating down a river on tubes. Drinking. Yeah. But we'll just keep it something like that. Just do want something descriptive in there. So now when the phone reads back to them, it will tell them exactly what that photo is. So be aware of that wherever you see alternative text. When I upload an image, it's you might be thinking like, I'm just going to go ahead and click save. Now the problem with that is that it won't save. If I click on that, it's going to throw me an error because what it's asking is that you need to crop this image before you upload it. Now we have 4 different crops we would like you to do. And the reason why we have you do this up front is mainly because of the fact that this image can be used in different places throughout the site. So if somebody were to just take it from the media library and use it, that those croppings are already thought out and taken place. So just depending on what you want to do here. So let's just say a teaser crop here, for example, maybe I'll just highlight one person. So you can just easily kind of click into it. And then, so that's for just a regular kind of teaser image card. It's used for cards. And then next I want to go to a slideshow. So if I'm using slideshow, how do I want it to look? So here's a slideshow. And just note that once you click into it, you will see that it says cropping applied. You can't save this image until all croppings are applied. And once you kind of get used to it, these take like a few seconds. So that's how I want the slideshow to do. I am creating a banner. So what does the banner look like? That looks good to me, just like that. And then a square crop here. This is kind of the catch-all for different things. So we'll just select that here. And now all the cropping has been applied to each of the crops that I have here. So that should be good to go. If you want to change the name, you can, but I'm gonna go ahead and click save here. And now that has added that image to the media library. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select that and then insert selected. So now that is the image we're going to use for the banner. I'm going to add in an overlay. What the overlay does, it just kind of darkens the image so the text you put on front will stand out a little bit better. And then you can change the color of the text depending on what image you're doing it. Because if you do upload something that has more whites in it and you have a white text, it's harder to read, you can always change that to a black text if you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and just add this block of information, which is just a banner. So it has now added that banner to there. I'm going to go ahead and save the layout. So now my cool page has now been added to this particular page.
Vincent, Alex got his hand up.
Oh, yes, Alex.
Hey, Vincent. Can you show me again where to access those image files from the basically kind of like how you do the content type? I know it's one of those menus, but I forgot how to do it.
If you want to go directly to the media
To
library.
the media library, yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually under, if you go to content, you should see the button for media, and you can click directly on media library here.
Oh, it's under content. So which one is which? I know that there are some of these are tagged, like, is it going to be going to the media, or is it, I know there's like two different distinctions for these images, because sometimes I see images that I added and sometimes I don't when I'm like going through like add the media on the.
Yeah, one thing we want to improve upon, I think when we first built this out, is that we had things where we kind of divvy things out. We thought it would work this way, but it tends to be a little bit confusing. So there are certain things that if you go to announcement image here as an example, and I apply this filter, it doesn't show that image that I just uploaded. If you were to upload something to the announcements, if you're creating an announcement,
Yeah.
it will show on this media library. And then that announcement, when you're trying to select an image, will only choose from that media type announcement image. So,
Also, like the ones for the news content type, it has its own particular library.
yeah, so that one in particular, I think it's probably using image as the media type. And we want to kind of start, we want to at some point update everybody's site so everybody's just using the same media type instead of having these individual ones, because like you said, it does get confusing. But definitely check out the different media types that are there. So if I select image, it is showing me all the ones that I uploaded for basic pages, for even news articles probably. So it's all here. But
Okay.
that's why certain ones, and we can always fix that individually on those sites, but we do want to come up with a plan to kind of better leverage that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So going back to my cool page here, as you guys can see, I've uploaded that banner image here. I've added in, you see it is darkened. It has darkened the image. That's with that overlay. And then it shows my text that I put here as my cool page. I know I kind of went over a lot there, especially diving into this new segment of this layout builder, but does anybody have any other questions particular to what we have done here for this page? Okay, cool. That will take us to our next task here. So what I would like everybody to do is to create your own basic page. You're going to go to add content, create basic page, add title. You're going to throw in some lorem ipsum in the body. And then under the menu settings, provide one and make sure that the parent item is this says cool page, but my cool page, the one I just created. Make that the parent item. Click save, go to layout, and then add a banner. I'll give everybody about 10 minutes to do so. I know we are coming up on time, so take your time, and I'll be sticking around. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll navigate back to this particular page, but I do want to let you guys know that our next training is going to be in July 26th. It is our deeper diver train. It's our deeper dive training. So we're going to take a deeper dive into the layout builder, kind of what we're just kind of getting into right now, and kind of show you how to kind of create those splash pages, how to play around more with those different blocks that we have available to you, and creating things that are reusable. That's what we'll be going over in our deeper dive training, which is in 2 weeks. But go ahead, let's finish out this task. If you guys have any questions, let me know.
Hey, Vincent, I think I've got everything except for 8 here. Let's lay out of the banner. I guess I just don't know where to place the banner to make it actually appear when I press view.
Yeah. So after you're taking a look at your page, you see at the top where it says like edit, view, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
There's a button there that says layout. So if you click on that, that will take you to the layout builder. And then in that first section, it's called section 1. There's a button there that has a little plus sign that says add block. Click on that in section 1. And then that menu appears to the right. You click on the blue button here, it says add custom block.
Yep.
Select that, and you'll see banner there.
Okay. So I did do all that. I think I've just got. So I got a banner, got a picture of a dog. Oh, you know what? I think I did mess up on that. Okay, let me try that again.
Okay.
Again. Oh. Okay. Banner to top region. So where it says banner to top region, that's going to be in configure section 1 add block. If you're talking, you are on mute, Vincent.
Oh, I am on mute. Sorry.
Nice.
Yes. So
in configure section 1.
Yeah. So under section 1, you don't click on configure section 1. There's just outside of that, there's the button there has a plus that says add block.
Add block, right?
Yeah. So select that.
Okay.
Then the menu slides out from the right. That blue button at the top of that menu, it should say add custom block. Select that, and then that'll give the option to choose banner.
Okay. This one instead. Insert selected. Block. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I think I got it down. Only thing is I didn't get the option to crop and give it a ADA description. I didn't crop that.
Yeah, if you're selecting an image that's already in the media library, those are already cropped and everything. You only have to crop when you're uploading a new image. So if you were to take one from your computer and do it, then you'll have to do the cropping.
I see. Got it. Okay. Okay. I think I finally got it. Cool.
Okay. I'm going to jump back over to the site here. So taking a look here. So we do have some pages that are here. So Palm Springs movie, we got that here. We have a cooler page.
That's my first attempt. Coolest page is the second.
The coolest page. Go. Yeah, picture of my dog on there.
Nice.
So it's good. So yeah, so this kind of just you are kind of getting the hang of it. So that's good here. This is a good foundation for this will get you like about 60% of the way through with a lot of your sites and stuff like that. So that's good. What we do want to cover in our next training in a couple of weeks, we could dive in a little bit deeper into this layout builder itself and kind of show the powers of those blocks to be able to kind of move things around, creating your own custom layouts. So we'll go ahead and do that. But I know we are at time, so I thank you guys for sticking it out here to the end. If you guys have any additional questions, just let me know and I can stick around.
Thank you, Vincent. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.